Welcome back to Parenting Unplugged, the podcast created to support raising healthy and resilient kids. Today, we're talking about bullying and cyberbullying, what it looks like, how it affects children, and what parents can do to respond. These are challenges many families face, and our goal is to provide clear, practical ideas that can help you support your child with confidence. Let's start with the basics. In simple terms, what is bullying and what does it look like?
Yeah, so a simple way to define bullying for parents is unwanted and repetitive aggressive behavior. Usually involves a shift in power dynamic.
Totally. And anyone can be susceptible to bullying. I've known adults who've been bullied, but a lot of times, in our field, we recognize it mainly with the adolescent population.
How is cyberbullying different from traditional bullying, and why does it feel harder for kids to escape?
It starts with the cell phones. The cell phones, a lot of times, with the boom of the usage of the internet, a lot of kids have access.
And with the phones too, involves the access to social media,
Yes.
gaming forums, group chats.
Mhm.
And apart from the bullying that happens on the internet, we also see a lot of physical bullying, verbal bullying, bullying that excludes individuals, spreading rumors, which is super common with children and adolescents in the schools. It's important for parents and families to know that online bullying could take shape in any form, right? Whether it's that harassment and threats that we might be more familiar with, but in addition to that, there could be fake accounts, sharing images, as well as catfishing. So adults might create these fake accounts, but vice versa, children, adolescents who create accounts pretending to be someone that they're not. Just something to consider as well when trying to reflect on if our children are being bullied.
I'm happy that Janet brought up the topic of catfishing because there's a new Netflix documentary called Unknown Number, where in the Netflix documentary, a young girl is being catfished. And it just goes to show how prevalent it is, even within, your friend group, your own family, how you could be susceptible to it.
What differences do you see in the impact on younger kids compared to teens?
I think a huge difference could be the conversations that either children or adolescents bring up. I think children could be more curious and ask more questions about things versus an adolescent might be more guarded or withdrawn.
What practical steps can parents take to prevent and address bullying?
What parents could do is, and I can't emphasize this enough, keep open lines of communication so that their children can feel safe. I think it's important that for a parent to challenge themselves if a child or adolescent chooses to share what's going on, that we don't respond in anger or shame, but we try to be supportive. We could still express the fact that we're upset, but if we act on anger, it's going to cause children and adolescents to be guarded and withdrawn. And also with that, setting expectations, right? How could we monitor screen time? How could we monitor how much time we do spend on social media and on the internet?
And piggybacking off what Janet said, yes, just setting those expectations like, hey, I'm trusting you to have, your phone, and I'm trusting that you'll make the right decisions. So, with that being said, just express, hey, I don't want you on these, before I put limitations on your phone, I don't want you to go to these websites. I don't want you to engage in these behaviors.
Definitely. It's important to educate, save evidence of bullying, report, and with the reporting too, we could lean on our schools. We could lean on the online platforms themselves, reporting those instances of bullying. And in extreme cases, too, if needed, law enforcement.
What is the parent's role if bullying is happening at school? And how should they partner with teachers or administrators?
I think it's important to identify where is this bullying coming from. If a child and adolescent is saying that perhaps it's a peer, a first step would be to immediately go to school counselors, school social workers,
Mhm.
and continue to report those instances of bullying. However, if it's something, and I it can get a little bit difficult to identify because sometimes there'll be instances where schools will try to do their best in what they can. However, sometimes it might be out of their hands because for example, we talked a little bit about the catfishing. If it's an adult trying to communicate with her children and adolescents, that's a perfect example as to perhaps we should go to law enforcement with this.
Yes, Jeanette and Vincent. Bullying in any form can take a heavy toll on children and families, but parents have the power to make a difference. By staying connected, setting clear expectations, and knowing when to step in, you can help your child feel supported and safe. And remember, you don't have to navigate this alone. Endeavor Health Behavioral Health offers resources to support parents and their families. Thanks for listening to Parenting Unplugged. We'll be back next month with another conversation to support families like yours.